5 habits that made me mentally unstoppable. They say 90% of success is mental, but here's the shocking part. According to the National Science Foundation, we have between 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and 80% of them are negative. That's tens of thousands of tiny mental roadblocks holding you back every single day. Now, imagine what happens when you flip that switch and turn your mind into your most powerful ally instead of your worst enemy. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But it's not. It's real. And it's possible. In today's video, I'm sharing the 5 habits that completely rewired my mind, habits that made me mentally unstoppable. Not just more confident or more focused, truly resilient, laser sharp, and unshakable. These aren't generic wake-up-early tips. These are habits built through fire, failure, and relentless testing. And if you stick with me, you're going to walk away with tools that most people never discover in a lifetime. Daily mental rehearsal. Imagine stepping into every situation, job interview, argument, presentation, with the kind of clarity athletes feel before the gold medal sprint. That's the power of mental rehearsal. Every single morning, I spend 10 minutes visualizing the day ahead. Not just the wins, but the chaos, the curveballs, the pressure points. This isn't just manifesting fluffy dreams with a Pinterest board. This is mental wargaming. The Navy SEALs do it. Olympic champions swear by it. Why? Because when your mind has already seen the stress, it doesn't panic when it arrives. Studies show that visualizing a task can activate almost the same brain regions as actually performing it. That means you're literally building experience without moving a muscle. But here's the key. Don't just picture success, picture failure too. Visualize your reaction when the internet crashes during your Zoom pitch. Picture how you'll breathe when someone attacks your idea. That mental script becomes your armor. Sure, it might feel awkward at first, but awkward is where the growth lives. The more you train this habit, the less life can surprise you. It's like rehearsing for the unexpected. And suddenly, nothing feels unmanageable. Controlled exposure to discomfort. Comfort is a liar. It whispers sweet nothings while secretly shrinking your potential. One of the most powerful habits I ever adopted was the deliberate and consistent exposure to discomfort. Cold showers, speaking to strangers, saying no when I used to say yes just to please people. These little friction points rewired something deep. Why? Because comfort zones don't expand, they shrink. And your mind, if left unchallenged, becomes soft like a couch potato's midsection. But here's the kicker. Discomfort doesn't mean chaos. It means controlled chaos, like a mental gym. Neuroscience backs this up. Small, repeated doses of stress increase our brain's resilience over time. It's called stress inoculation. You train it just like a muscle. And trust me, the first few reps are ugly. You'll feel weird, vulnerable, maybe even dumb. But that's proof it's working. I remember standing in line just to ask for a discount at a coffee shop. Not because I needed one, but because the thought made me uncomfortable. That's where you grow. And once you get addicted to that growth, you start chasing it on purpose, silencing internal dialogue. Here's a hard truth. Most of your suffering comes from the commentary, not the situation itself. Your boss sends a vague email, and your mind writes a 10-season drama about how you're getting fired. That's the internal dialogue, and if you don't learn to tame it, it'll eat your confidence alive. So what changed everything for me? Meditation? Sort of. But deeper than that, it was learning to notice the voice. That inner narrator who's always scared, always doubting, always overthinking. Once you spot it, you separate from it. And that space between thought and reaction, that's where your power is. Neuroscientists call it metacognition, the ability to think about your thinking. And that tiny gap is the difference between reacting and responding. But let's be real, you won't master this overnight. The mind is sneaky. It'll disguise fear as logic and panic as preparation. But once you learn to catch the script, I'm not good enough, they're all judging me, this will never work, you start rewriting it, literally. I used to keep a running log of my thoughts during high-stress days, just to expose the loops. And once you see the pattern, you can break it. Your mind is a narrator, not a truth teller. Never forget that. Deliberate identity reinforcement. Who do you believe you are? Not what you say, but what you actually believe deep down. Because here's the wild part. Your brain is always trying to stay consistent with that identity, whether it serves you or not. If you believe you're not a morning person, your brain will sabotage 5 a.m. alarms. If you think you're bad with money, you'll subconsciously find ways to stay broke. I flipped this by actively feeding a new identity. Every day, I repeated one sentence. I am someone who does hard things even when I don't feel like it. That wasn't motivation. It was identity programming, and science supports this. Your reticular activating system, RAS, filters information that confirms your identity. So if you say, I'm disciplined, your brain literally starts looking for proof. That's not law of attraction fluff, it's biology. The real trick is making it believable. Don't say, I'm a millionaire if you're overdrafting daily. Say, I make decisions like someone who earns 6 figures. Ground it. Build from there. Identity is like software. Most people never update it, but you can, deliberately. And once your habits align with who you believe you are, you become unstoppable, not because it's easy, but because it becomes inevitable. Strategic ignorance. You do not need to know everything. In fact, knowing too much can cripple you. One of the most underrated but life-changing habits I adopted was strategic ignorance. I stopped consuming content that didn't align with my goals. I muted accounts, turned off notifications, and unsubscribed from the drama masquerading as information. Why? Because attention is currency, and you only have so much of it to spend. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That's 96 chances to get mentally hijacked. I realized that not every opinion needs a response, not every piece of news needs my panic, and not every trend deserves my time. Instead, I started curating my mental diet like my physical one: clean, high impact, and focused. And something magical happened. I could hear my own thoughts again. I could sit with boredom without needing to scroll. I regained agency. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your ambition. You fall to the level of your attention. Protect it like gold. Because once you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your future. If you found any clarity or motivation in this video, take a second and hit that like button. It helps way more than you think. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because this channel is built for people who are done playing small and ready to take control of their minds and their lives. And drop a comment below. Let me know which habit you're going to start building today. Or share a habit of your own that made you mentally tougher. This community grows stronger when we share and sharpen each other. And lastly, share this with someone who needs it. A friend, a coworker, a sibling,